guys? And boy, does it feel good to have some Attack on Titan, man. And you know, I'm pretty late with this episode because the thing is, I did not know Attack on Titan was airing, yo. I swear to you guys, I thought the season was finished or something. I was like, wait, is the season done? Like, cause you know, the way they did end things off, it kind of, you know, seemed done. But you know, it's just the end of the arc that we were currently in. But the one thing that gets me, right? I feel like since it was the end of that arc, why is there no new opening? And plus with a week break, usually what happens in anime is when they take a week break and, you know, there's no episode for a week because an arc ended, they change the opening, you know what I mean? That happens, right? So why did Attack on Titan not do that? I don't know why, but you know, I digress. Still a very enjoyable episode. So the episode starts off 2 months prior to, you know, the attack with Rod and how he became this humongous Titan taking over the village and whatnot, you know, trying to get beyond the walls. And you know, of course, Historia being the badass that she is came through to save the day. And you see what's kind of happening now, like Historia, they're taking care of, like, you know, the less fortunate, the needy people, and they're really doing good for the walls, you know what I mean? Having Historia as queen is really making a change, and you can see change occurring. And also, a big thing that's as well happening is the development with Eren and his hardening ability, which since Eren can harden, he's now making it harder for Titans to get through the walls, because now what they're doing is they're using Eren's hardening abilities to make all these trap-like things, all these, you know, like they got like these barbed wire-based stuff blocking the walls or blocking an entrance, and it makes it harder for the Titans to get through. And with this, it really advances technology beyond the walls, because now it's like, if you think about it, they no longer really need to get out the wall to kill Titans. Like, what they do is they got this huge log and they just crush the nape of a Titan's neck, just like that. The huge log just goes through and smashes the Titan's neck. And I believe the Titan was 12 meters, 12-meter Titan, so that's pretty badass, you know what I mean? That's a huge improvement than before, rather than having someone go there, risk their lives to fight that Titan. Because, you know, as we know with Titans, it doesn't matter the height, all Titans can be a problem, and especially even if they're little, when you get overwhelmed, if you get overwhelmed with anything, it can be a problem, you know what I mean? Even if they're little, it doesn't matter. You can get overwhelmed by kids with sticks. Think about it. Kids with sticks and stones can overwhelm you, an adult, and you could even lose, you know what I mean? So that's my whole point here. So the fact that now it's easier for us to take out these Titans without really risking lives is really cool. But the big problem with this, though, is we can see that it takes a toll on Eren. He looks exhausted, his nose is bleeding and whatnot. It's just, you know, it's affecting him very drastically. We got the flashback of Grisha, Eren's father, but before I get into that, I just want to say, we know that Connie's mother is, you know, now we know definitely it's confirmed, like that Titan in the house, like that was laying on the house, is Connie's mother. I don't know if, like, I don't remember exactly if that was, like, confirmed. I mean, I knew when we were watching the episode and everything, we all had, like, you know, a conclusion that that was Connie's family member, but we know now, confirmed, that is his mother. And it kind of makes you think, like, what is this battle then? Because if all these Titans are just people who are suffering and they, you know, it's not like they wanted to be a Titan. Like, it would just be like someone like me. I don't want to be a Titan, but if I transform to a Titan, or like they give me a serum or something like that, and I turn to a Titan and I start killing people, I'm a helpless person living in this nightmare. So am I to be killed and, you know, like, you know, bullied because I'm forced to be in this form? It's something I don't want to be in, you know what I mean? So it kind of raises that, you know, that thought in mind. And of course you see them, they're trying to change Connie's mother back. And I feel if we can do that, this would be a huge, huge advancement. Because think about it, if we can change Connie's mother back to a human, that means we can change all these other Titans. Because if you think about it, necessarily, that means all Titans are just people. We know that now. All Titans are just people. I mean, we've always knew this, like I said, but I'm just going back on it. Like, all Titans are just people in a nightmare. And if we can give them this serum, like, or, you know, make a serum or something like that, that can turn them back to humans, that's perfect. And, you know, it's kind of giving me a theory. Maybe what's in the cellar is something like that. Something that can change Titans back to humans, a cure for this, disease. Is it a disease? It's not even a disease, but a cure for the Titans, basically. Something that can change them all back to humans. That's what I believe could be in that cellar now. The key that Eren has. Alright, so like I said, we get the flashback to Grisha from Commander Keith. And if you guys remember, Commander Keith is the dude that, when Eren was becoming, he was training to be in the Scouts, that dude with the bald head and, he looked like he didn't sleep in like years or something like that. Him. He's the one who trained with us. So back from season 1, we hear about Eren's father from him. So basically, he's connected with Eren's dad, and Eren remembers. He's like, yo, I remember seeing someone before who was with my father when I was little. Like before I ate my father and whatnot. I remember something like that. But he just couldn't remember exactly who it was. And eventually, Eren realized it was Keith. Basically, we press Keith. We go to him and we're like, yo, tell us what happened. Tell us what you know and whatnot. And he tells us about how he met Eren's father. So Eren's father was a mindless Titan. He was outside the walls, and I guess he ate a Titan shifter. Not even I guess, I know. He ate a Titan shifter, and because he did that, he was able to turn back to a human. That's how it works. If you're a Titan and you eat a Titan shifter, you can become a human again. So this is 20 years previous, alright? This is 20 years ago. Keith sees Eren's father, and Eren's father knows nothing about this world, and you know what I mean? They take him into the walls and they teach him and educate him on this world and whatnot. And he learns about the Scouts and all of this because, obviously Eren's father was from a different time. It's been many years. He even thought the whole idea of Scouts, going out there, he was like, wow, that's pretty, cool. And he gave them respect. He called Keith the chosen one. He's a chosen person because with him, going out there and doing all these great things, that's pretty, that's pretty applauding. And because he told Keith this kind of stuff, Keith was up in his head. It bigged him up to an extent. Because he started, he started just working completely on this. He had this mentality I'm the chosen one kind of thing going on. And he was just going in, doing all these, really risking everything in his life, becoming a commander, all this crazy stuff, moving up in levels and going outside the walls and handling situations. It got to a point where he started to realize that he's not all that. He's not the chosen one. And honestly, he started blaming Eren's father for this because I guess how he looked at it, from how I'm viewing things, he felt Eren's father telling him that he was a chosen one made him the type of person he is, made him feel like he was special when he wasn't special. And because he felt he was so special, he handled things the way he did. And of course, the scene with the bystander and where Keith mentions that he is just a mere bystander. I thought that was a pretty interesting scene to add there. Although I kind of have my own, I kind of agree with Carla, Carla's beliefs. I feel like everyone in this world, we're born special and whatnot. But then again, if you kind of look at it to a sense like this, there are people who are gifted, who are born gifted than others. Of course, you would have someone who's born with athletic ability and someone who's not, who's not, athletic or cannot do what this other person can do. And because of that, he has a upper hand, you know what I mean? And he has all these athletic abilities. It goes to kind of show you that people aren't equal. And I like that because, it is very realistic, you know what I mean? We are not equal, People are born differently. People are born with privileges. People are born rich. People are born, better looking than others. And by him going on saying, he was a mere bystander, you got to look at it like this, right? Just recently, Eren was feeling that he wasn't special. Just as of recent, Eren was feeling he was not special. He was like, oh wow, Historia, could gain this power, or someone else could have my power, and they could do greater things with my power. He was feeling helpless. And this episode kind of ties in with that. Because, you see, Keith was literally just feeling the same way. Keith realizing that he's like, yo, I'm not special. When he gives Eren the job, he's like, yo, Eren, you know what? You can handle this. There's people who can do my job better than me. I'm not special. Going back to Eren, who's been feeling down, because he's like, yo, if my father never killed Historia's sister, could she have changed the world? If you know, this stuff didn't happen. Why am I the one in the middle of this? I'm not special. Someone else can have my power. The royal family, Historia, they can have my power and do greater things with it. And you know, when you look back at it and you see how everything is connected like that, you gotta give respect. You gotta give respect. You gotta give respect. And like I said, I like to believe, like, you know how Carla looked at things towards, you know, the end where she has this beautiful line, man. And she's like, even if you're not special, who cares? You know what I mean? Honestly, and that's the thing, right? Who cares if you're special or not? Just you living and being born in this world is kind of her thing, right? You're special there. And I thought, like, man, that's beautiful. Because if you think about it, right? You just being born and in this world, you're special. You're alive. You're not, you know, like, you're alive, man. This was honestly like a very good episode, and it's like, you know, the thing that like I said, I really love, because Keith, right? I didn't even, when we were seeing, like, Keith in the episode, I was like, yo, I forgot all about this man. I'm like, yo, it's like I knew I saw him, but I didn't know I saw him. You know, I was like, wait, I know this dude, but I don't know where I know him from. And then they go straight up like, oh, season one, you know what I mean? And I believe if, like, in season 1, we did see Keith was connected to the father to an extent. Like, he was in one of the episodes with the father, something like that, along those lines. So if you think about it like that, even from this far back, from season 1, the author knew what he was doing, you know what I mean? And tying all this in. Honestly, I think that's pretty cool. Because you see, it kind of brings to you, like, this view that, to him, all his characters are important. Even, like, the non-important ones. Like, Keith is not an important character. Who cares about him? You know what I mean? Honestly, he's just a bystander. No, oh my gosh, that's so messed up. No, I'm just kidding, guys. But my point being is that, like, Keith, he's literally a character who we've seen in season 1, and yeah, alright, yeah, from season 1 what we've seen, we were probably like, oh, he's a badass, he's interesting, he's cool. But he was nothing but a side character, you know what I mean? And of course, with him, like, more side characters will be added, more interesting characters and whatnot. Like, he would just die down and another character would be added, kind of thing. But just the fact that he was able to be brought back in the 3rd season, and of course, like, farther in the manga, it's like, wow, you gotta, you know, like, wow, that's really cool. And it makes me wonder what else, you know, characters has this been done for in the future that we might see. It kind of makes me wonder that, like, just the fact that, you know, like I said, Keith being a side character that he is, and, you know, you really haven't seen much from him. I mean, I guess if you think about it, it has been a while since the anime ran, and of course I don't read the manga, so I don't know if it's like these arcs and whatnot occurring, they're pretty close. I don't know if it's close, but it's been like years since the anime has been running, so it makes it feel even longer. By calling this episode The Bystander, I feel like it really, you know, like, it really nailed, like, the whole meaning of this episode as a whole. And, like, when you get, like, towards the end, and you also see how with Keith, like, you remember in season 1 how Eren, like, when they were using the belt, the mobility belts and whatnot, and his was messed up. It was Keith who did that. He messed up Eren's belt. Because what was happening was, what Keith was trying to do was, he was trying to make it impossible for Eren to, you know, he was giving Eren hardships in life to kind of show him, like, we can't do this, we can't live this world, we're not chosen. But even through all those hardships that he gave Eren, Eren still pulled through and was able to, you know, manage and become a great person. There's nothing about being chosen or anything like that, and we all get this from the perspective of Keith. Like I said, the bystander, the witness, the beholder. Keith tried to sabotage Eren and tried to change things, but he couldn't really do anything, because, you know, here's the whole thing, like I said, with the going back on the bystander thing, right? If someone is a bystander, you just witnessed the situation, like, you're nothing. I mean, I don't want to, like, degrade him or anything, like, you know, that's kind of messed up. You're nothing, like, really? You are something, but, like, what I mean by you're nothing is, like, you have no power in shifting things, you know what I mean? And by showing all the things that he tried to do in the, like, towards the flashback, and how, like, even when it came to Eren's father, and how Eren's father kind of bitched him, and he was like, yo, what me and my son do, that's for my family's sake, like, mind your business. He couldn't do anything in that situation. Honestly, the only thing he did was take Eren's body to shelter, you know what I mean? But it shows you, like, he was just a bystander, like, he was just a witness to all of this. I had this deep meaning in my head just right now, like, I was gonna say something, but then I forgot. Like, I was gonna say, like, if you think about it, like in a deeper sense, it's like Keith is a witness to all of this, but like really, I don't know. I had this thought in head, but you know, it just went out. Like couldn't grasp it in time. But yeah, you know, the thing I loved was the ending. I mean, of course, I loved everything about this episode. Like, of course, getting the flashback. I love flashbacks, especially when they're handled properly, and this was handled properly. And like, towards the end, when Keith is like, you just hear him like narrating and whatnot, and then the music comes on, yo, the Attack on Titan music, man, the classic tune. You're like, oh, this is good, man. They really wanted to emphasize this scene right here. But overall, very enjoyable episode. I hope I'm not missing out on anything, because you know, with a show like Attack on Titan, there's a lot of meanings and whatnot, and deep thoughts and all these stuff going in. The author, like, they have meanings for everything they do. So I'm just hoping I didn't really miss any symbolic scenes or anything like that. I feel like I really discussed everything. Like, you know, of course, with Eren's hardening ability, now we are able to, you know, fight Titans in a safer way. And of course, Historia being the queen, she's making life better for the people within the walls. And just a flashback with Grisha and Carla and Keith showing you, like, you know, he's witnessed all of this, but you know, he couldn't really change fate or anything like that. He's just a witness through history being made kind of thing. Yeah, pretty enjoyable episode, man. Thanks for watching. If you made it to the end, you're amazing. Yo, peace.